Hello everybody, welcome to the table. Today we're taking a look at the Nuknives. This is the Kumpanter utility knife. So we can see our wrapping right there. This is a knife I picked up from Kickstarter, and if this knife looks familiar at all, you may remember this a few months ago. This made the YouTube rounds, so to speak, because the company sent these to all the big influencers, and it was to promote their Kickstarter special. So I actually purchased this knife with my own funds on the Kickstarter, and it just arrived very recently. So these are my thoughts on the knife. And a totally non-sponsored knife was not given to me. I just kind of want to tell you my thoughts. So before we even start, feel free in the comments below to tell me how I'm mispronouncing the name, because Kumpanter, it must be German or something, but it's certainly not of my tongue, so to speak. But either way, we'll check out the knife and see what it came with, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on this really cool utility folder. So first off, packaging it came in was a nice zipper pouch. Has the Nuknives brand on there as well as an American flag. And of course, product is made in China, but we can still see it's a nice spacious pouch. And this could be useful for a lot more than just the knife if you want to reuse the packaging, so to speak. So that's kind of nice. This version of the knife, like I was saying, has this nice jade G10 handle, these nice grips on here. It's not a super textured G10, but it does feel pretty good in hand. And this was available in a bunch of different colors, but for me, jade G10, there's just something pretty cool about it. So this is the one that I favored. Really nice liner lock design. And so it's actually super solid design-wise. In hand, like if you've ever handled a knife from, say, Civivi, this feels like this could have been built by Civivi. And I honestly have no idea who the OEM for this model was who actually produced it for Nuknives. But if you told me Civivi, I would not be surprised one bit. It just feels very solid. The frame itself, nice and thick, very solid in there. And you're actually going to see inside the frame, if you take a look in there, you're going to see how all of the liner is skeletonized. For weight reduction. And so the knife itself comes in at a very light weight. We can see right here on the scale. So the knife weighs in, the Kumpanter weighs 3.15 ounces, which is great for a knife of this size. And so for some size comparisons, let me go ahead and pull out some knives that you may be familiar with. So first off, we are going to use the Benchmade Bug Out. So let's put these two side by side. Right here. Bug Out's a little bit bigger in terms of blade length, but what's actually quite comparable to the Kumpanter is this right here. This is the Benchmade Mini Griptilian. So put those side by side, and you can see even in terms of overall length, blade length, we're getting something fairly comparable here. So it's not a large knife, but it does certainly feel good in hand compared to a lot of the other essentially box cutters, utility knives that use the same type of blade. So either way, comparison-wise, let's just check these out again side by side. Give you an idea of what you're getting here. So some Benchmade comparisons. Let's put these to the side for now. Take a look at the knife itself again. We are running a liner lock on this knife, so we can see right here, you can check out the lockup is nice and early. No issues with that. The actual frame itself, again, no play. It's very solid. And the utility blade itself, in terms of play, you can see there's a little bit of wiggle there. But with something like a utility knife, you kind of do expect there to be some tolerances. You know, that could be an issue because the blades are replaceable. There's always going to be a little bit of wiggle in that system, but not too bad. Not too bad. So it's the actual opening of the knife. We have two different opening methods here. We have these really nice thumb studs. And of course, thumb studs kind of get overlooked from time to time, but these are actually really well done. They're super smooth on your fingers, easy to actuate, and again, just the smoothness is actually pretty impressive. I don't think I've ever seen another pocket knife that has thumb studs with this kind of a really nice polished, smooth finish to it. So just very, very pocket friendly in my opinion. So that's always nice. But this is also a front flipper. So we can see our front flipper tab there. So if front flippers are your thing, this knife will work out just fine. So front flipping action is pretty good. That does run on bearings, so the action is going to be nice and smooth. So there we go. The actual blade itself, we can see right here, this is the blade it came with, and it is compatible with most standard replaceable utility blades. And so we can show you how to do that right now. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't require tools. So let's say you bring this knife, you're going to the airport on a flight, you realize you forgot you have your knife with you. You can easily just, with your fingers, unscrew this right here. This screw comes right out. So we can see that. This is the retaining screw. Very small, very flat. And this blade pulls right out like that. So you could easily toss your blade, put this back in your luggage at the airport, and now you have something that is much less likely to get confiscated by TSA. So this is actually a really cool idea if you're a traveler. And now, can I guarantee TSA still won't take your knife? Obviously not, but I think they're a lot less likely to take it than obviously if it had the blade installed on there. So pretty nice tolerances to get the blade in and out. There's of course the groove there. It does slide right back in like that. And then you can see the screw goes right in that hole to secure it in place. And it does feel pretty secure. To remove the blade, it does require a little bit of lateral upward, like I'm pulling upward on it to get it out of there. So there is a little bit of friction in there holding it in, even without the screw in place. Not enough that you would want to use it in that manner, but it is there. So I will say right now, this is a standard utility blade with the pattern on top. This is compatible with the knife. Not every utility blade will be, because I have some right here. These are these concave hook blades. And so these are compatible with the vast majority of utility knives that I've used before, but they're not with the Kumpanter. And let me show you why. So let me just pull out one of these blades and I can show you the comparison. Look at the two little notches here on the blade and their position. So when I put it over a regular utility blade, you'll notice those notches do not line up perfectly. So instead of being here, it's over onto the side. And so this utility blade, this is the hook, will not fit inside of this system securely. You still can put it in like this, but there's not enough meat down here gripping the blade to hold it securely. It will fall out. So while this does work well with regular utility blades, it is not 100% compatible with all of these specialty blades, like these hook blades right here. So just something to note. Is it a real big negative? Not really, but I figured this is something I can share because I have a lot of these hook blades. I love these for utility purposes, and I wanted to see if they were compatible. But on the flip side of things, let's put this blade back in. What's really nice about this design as a utility knife, look at how much of this cutting edge is available to you. You get almost the entire length of the utility blade as a cutting edge. And that is not really common with utility blades. Let me show you, for instance, like right here is just your standard cheapo, cobalt utility blade. And you can see how much sharpened edge is exposed. This is pretty standard in the industry. You get this much blade. When this gets dull, you can flip the blade over. You get somewhat of a fresh edge, so to speak. Only downside is you only get a little bit of cutting edge. So that's standard. That's what we come to expect. Same thing with a lot of our little pocket utility blades. Look at how much edge you get there. Great for poking, great for box opening. But if you need something with a longer edge, what we have here with the Kumpanter is this full utility blade edge accessible to you, straight out of the box. Really cool. And again, to resecure this blade into the handle, we have our tiny little screw right here. It's a little fidgety to get it threaded in there, but it's doable. And I love that it's tool free. You can just do it with your hands. So I just have it finger tight. I'm going to shake the blade a little bit, and then I'm going to retighten it. And now we're back in business. There we go. Perfect. And so one thing that you want to be careful about is keeping this screw intact. Do not lose it as you're changing the blade, because as you can see, this is a tiny, tiny screw. It might not be a common thread size, so if you lose it, if you're out in the field, you're changing your blade, and this screw goes flying, good luck with it. I will say that. And you want to make sure that it stays tight and doesn't loosen up, because as you flick and flip this blade, the last thing you want to happen is have the blade fly out because this got too loose. And I've had that happen with some of my other utility knives with a similar system to this. I just wasn't paying attention. Screws got loose, blade tinked onto the floor, and that kind of scared me a little bit because if someone had been in front of me, I could have easily accidentally cut someone just because I was flicking the blade out without looking at the tension on the lock. So as long as you pay attention to it, you should not have any issues, should be no troubles at all. And overall, this is a really cool, well-built knife design, and for the price, the Kickstarter price was $35. I think it might be closer to like $39 retail when it's available, but for the price, I think you're getting a really solid everyday carry knife here, and I think at that budget, I think they're really hitting a home run with this model. We can also see we do have a deep carry pocket clip that is going to be reversible for left or right hand side. I will mention it is super tight, so putting this in your pants, when you retrieve the knife, it's kind of a chore to get it back out. The first time I did it, I actually accidentally flung the knife across the room because I was pulling so hard to get it out. As you pull the knife out of your pocket, you probably want to grab more of the frame of the knife and pull, as opposed to grabbing the clip itself and pulling, because there is just a lot of tension. You can see that. This is a very strong steel clip. But it does carry deeply. You know, that part is very well done, but it is very tight, so I will say that. So really, I mean, only potential downsides here, the clip is tight. You got to be careful with the locking system, and be aware of what blades the knife is compatible with, but this is the Kumpanter utility knife. In my opinion, again, I feel very positive about this. This is one of those fire and forget type purchases where I bought this a long time ago on Kickstarter and it just recently arrived, so it's kind of a pleasant surprise to get it here in the mail. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope everyone out there, you all have a knife day. Thank you very much. See ya.